Hey, welcome back for Week 5 of the Saluki Standards Podcast. I'm your host, Connor Runyon, and thanks for joining us. We'll keep this introduction short. Not much introduction needed for this guy. He's grown in popularity pretty quickly around this place, but we'll leave it at this. Here's the Missouri Valley Conference's Freshman of the Year, Marcus Domask. No, you're a Packers guy, right?
Yeah, that's right. We got season tickets for that.
Okay. Your favorite moment as a Packers fan, what is it?
Rodgers threw that Hail Mary against the Lions. I remember watching that in my living room with my whole family was in there. It just went crazy in there, so that was a good time right there.
The one against the Bears was pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
End of the regular season.
Yeah, that was something too.
Where are your guys' seats?
It's kind of in the corner, it's 25 rows up. They're good seats in it's like the Packers sideline.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
There's not a bad seat in that place, though.
No, there's not. That arena is special.
Yeah. Our Bears fans here in Illinois are probably mad at us, so we better move on, huh? But here with the Saluki Standards, let's dig into integrity is kind of at the baseline of that, and a lot of times in sports that's what you're doing when nobody's watching. Mm-hmm. And I know your teammates have been complimentary of how much time you put in by yourself, just being in the gym, putting shots up. Why do you take so much time to do that by yourself when you've got, class, workouts, practice, and games going on all the time?
Yeah, I just like to be in the gym. Especially if, I don't know, it's weird because if I'm not playing good, I want to be in there to fix my shot and fix what I've been feeling. But if I'm playing good, I want to be in there because I'm just I'm feeling good about it, so I just want to be in there. So no matter what, my mindset is I just want to be in the gym. So I don't I'm just in there because I enjoy it, really.
Is that kind of therapy to you?
Yeah, the empty gym, the quiet gym, it just hits different than anything else. It's just special to me.
What do you think about when you're in there by yourself?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm really just focused on my workout, and then sometimes I sit down on the sideline, and I'll just memories will go through my mind. Just the other day, I was sitting on my bench before my workout started, and I thought of the buzzer beater I hit and the crowds, and I was just kind of looking around, and it's just visions go through my head in there, and it's just a cool feeling to be in the gym.
How many times had you seen that shot before you actually hit it?
A lot. I've seen all those different angles, and that was a cool moment. Yeah,
but when you were sitting in the gym at times you're talking about, how many times had you visualized that moment happening?
Oh yeah, a lot. The buzzer beater is the coolest thing in basketball. So I'd always especially when I was younger, I put myself playing against different teams and hitting buzzer beaters all the time. So to finally hit one on the college level, in that arena, that was just extra special.
Pretty. Was it as sweet as you thought it was when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. How many times did you practice that shot? I know you guys had done it shoot around a bunch, but how many times had you actually taken that shot when you were alone in an empty gym?
Yeah, not a ton, but you kind of I'll take those one dribble faders, Kobe type of stuff. So I would do that when I was a kid, but I never really took them seriously. So that one was just kind of a shot that I would take when I'm just messing around, because it really was a one dribble double clutch. That's not a game shot, but
no.
Yeah, so that's just a shot that I take when I'm just messing around, just kind of passing time in the gym.
Yeah, you don't have three guys in front of you when you're taking that in the gym by yourself.
No, I don't.
You mentioned how it's peaceful there in the quiet gym when you're working by yourself. How often is it tedious for you? How often do you have to get in your own head and say, hey, I've got to do this today. I have no choice?
Yeah, I think that in high school, I had to kind of force myself to go to the gym more, my freshman and sophomore year. But as I've grown older, it's become something more that I get mad at myself if I don't get in the gym. And I text Rob rebounds for me. He puts me through workouts all the time, Rob Dozier. And I text him every day, like during class, because that's what I'm thinking about, what I'm going to do after class. And I'm going to go get in the gym with him right away. So it's just something that, as I've gotten older, it just naturally happens in my day. Like, it's a part of it.
Is there a single day throughout the year where you don't pick up a basketball?
There's been like 2 days where Coach Mullins has not allowed me to go in the gym because he says I have to rest my legs. So other than those couple days, no.
What about in high school? I mean, after the season ends, would you ever take a week, 2 weeks, anything like that, just to reset?
Yeah, my dad would kind of do the same thing as Coach Mullins did, and he'd kind of tell me like, hey, like you should take a couple of days off and just freshen up, like go hang out with your friends and do stuff like that. But, I mean, I never really liked doing that.
I was going to say, that probably gnawed at you a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're probably getting antsy.
So I'd go down to my gym, and, like, in my house we have a little court, and I would just kind of mess around down there and stuff. So I'd always kind of have that feel for the ball.
You had to sneak it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Late at night, get down there.
You mentioned both Coach Mullins and your dad. Another part of the Saluki Standards model is the word leadership. Let's start with your dad. A high school coach, you know, he's coached you and your three siblings as well. What have you learned from him about the meaning of that word, leadership?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing with him being a leader and the way that he leads that I like the most is, I mean, a lot of time with coaches I would consider the leaders of the team, but the coaches are often like yelling stuff like that. And the way that my dad leads is, I mean, he leads so like peacefully. I mean, he's not yelling at us all the time and stuff, and he's really just teaching and coaching all the time. So I think I've picked up a lot from that, where when I'm on the court, I'm not going to yell at my teammates. I mean, like I'll be loud using vocals when it's urgent and stuff like that. But if we go on a bad stretch, I'm not going to sit in the huddle and yell at them like, hey, like just screaming like we got to do better and stuff like that. Like I'll just talk to my teammates and kind of like let them know that like I got their back, like you have my trust and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest thing that he's taught me, just not like yelling isn't always the answer.
Right. There's always some interesting dynamics when you have dad and you have coach.
Yeah.
Where were the boundaries? Or were there? Or was it just all kind of the same thing?
Nah, there were boundaries. So I think and my dad's told me this, that because I was the last child, like it was way better than me than it was my older sister Morgan, he told me. And he told me that he feels like he didn't coach Morgan good enough, where he felt like he almost pushed her away because he was too much of a coach all the time. So with me, he was really good at being a coach on the court, and he would talk to me about basketball at home, but at home he was just a dad to me. And it was like he kept that relationship good. Was
it on your time when you wanted to talk about basketball?
Yeah, I would say so. And then the car rides are always that's his basketball time too.
Sure. How much of your dad do you see in yourself?
See, I don't see a ton, because I like to say I'm not like him, like, because I just think he's like a weirdo and stuff. You know how that is. But like all my friends and people who don't know my dad but like see my dad, like Lance and Trent talk to me about all the time how they say like we're identical and stuff. So I guess to other people we're really similar, but to me, I mean, I like to say like I'm my own person, I'm better than him and all that. But
you say that to his face?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
How's he respond to that?
He just I don't know, something smart he'll throw back at me.
How has he continued to empower you now that he's not your coach? He's just your dad and a fan watching you playing college.
Yeah. I mean, he does a good job of, and he talks to me about it, how he doesn't want to be my coach, and he wants to let me play, and he always tells me like, listen to what your coach is saying and stuff. But he'll give me like little tidbits that he thinks that I've maybe lost because I haven't been doing like his workouts with him and stuff that I can still work on, like outside of practice and stuff like that. So I think he does a good job of just like being there and supporting me, but helping me along the way through like obstacles.
You've got good leadership at the top with your dad, but you mentioned being the young one in the family. What have you learned from your siblings about being a leader?
Yeah, I think my brother probably taught me the most. And I mean, he was really similar with my dad too, about just like being calm and staying calm. I think that was the biggest thing with my whole family that I've learned throughout the years, is just to stay calm and stuff. And I feel like my brother probably, he would take me to the gym all the time and kind of show me the ropes. So I think he just taught me a lot, and like how to be a good person.
Sure. And that's a huge part of it, is the personal relationship with the people you're leading, right?
Yeah.
When's the first time that you remember being in the gym with your dad or your brother?
Geez, that was a long time ago. The first, with my brother, we would, in my house, I said I had that, like, the little court. So we would play games up to 100 all the time. And he would always, like, kind of, like, keep me close and, like, sometimes let me win. And, like, I always thought that he was playing his hardest.
He was toying with you.
Yeah. So I think a couple of memories I have in there are probably the first memories I have while being in the gym, just playing with him down there. I mean, we have so many memories. I could talk about that forever. Like, it was just special.
What else? What's number 2 on that list? Your memories with your brother.
Well, we would have... we would put this little mini tramp so we could dunk. Cause we would lower the hoop so we could dunk with a little mini tramp. And he was, like, falling down one time and threw it up there, and I blocked him. And that made my month. Like, I'm telling you, like, I told all my friends about it. Like, I blocked my brother. Like, I mean, it was just, that was a moment I will never forget. And I'm sure he remembers it too.
Did you tell his friends about it? That might be the most embarrassing point for him, right?
I told everybody about it.
That's pretty amazing. Going through this college experience now too, and having your older sister up at Platteville, right? Mm-hmm. Still playing college basketball. How much do you guys compare notes on leading your respective teams?
Yeah, we talk a fair amount. I mean, she had a good year, and she just won. She was just first team all conference, so I mean, I'm really proud of her for that. But we talk a lot about, because we were kind of both in, like, the rough stretches at the same time at the start of the year. Like, our team wasn't doing too well, and I mean, her team had a little struggle as well. So we talked a lot just about staying positive, and because I think that's the best way in any situation, just to stay positive and have a good outlook on things, and it'll just kind of turn up.
Sure.
Be better. So I think we talked a lot about just staying positive.
You've got 4 in your family that play basketball, a dad that coaches basketball. Where does mom factor into all that?
She started to pick up on enough basketball where she can have good conversations, and she would come in and rebound for me at times and do, like, a little workout while she rebounds for me and stuff. But she's just always there for support. Like, she'll try to say little stuff about, like, things that she thinks that we can do better and stuff. But I mean, really, we just kind of like, okay, Mom.
Yeah, whatever you say, Mom.
Yeah. But she would come to all of our games, and she had this little bracelet that when she clapped, like, we could all hear, like, out of the crowd, we could hear her bracelet. Which I don't know why we could, but we all agreed that we could hear that. And she's just always been, like, super supportive and stuff.
Probably hard to hear that in the arena now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Pantera Center.
It's a different level now.
Sure. Does she ever stop you guys and say, hey, let's get away from this basketball talk for a little bit. Let's talk or do something else?
Yeah. I mean, that's when she comes in and she'll plan, like, little vacations where she just wants us away from everything, and she just wants our family together, like, on the beach somewhere, and she's planning stuff that has nothing to do with basketball, and she loves those trips. Those are her favorite. Let's
go to a country without a hoop. Let's go to a country where they don't even know what round ball is. I can see that. But let's move on to the second tier here, toughness. Let's start with this season in particular. You mentioned some tough moments early on. You've been asked to do a ton at a higher level than you've ever played at before. Yeah. What's been the toughest part of year one in college?
The toughest part, I think, right away in the summer, and I've talked to our strength coach, Marcus Edwards, about this. It was like our first or second lift, and I remember walking in and we were lifting, and like it was super hard. I was gassed, and I remember he said halfway, and we all just looked at each other like, what? And I remember looking in the mirror and I was thinking, like, I don't know, like 4 years of this, like, I don't know. I think those first lifts might have been the toughest part of anything. The first couple weeks I was here, those first lifts were they were different than anything I've ever done in my life.
Doesn't mean it's been easy since then.
No, not at all. I mean, the whole summer, it was really just about getting ready for college because we all came in. I mean, most of us came in first year, Division I and stuff. So it was just a big step that we all had to take just to be able to get on the floor. So the conditioning and all those practices and stuff, it was tough. There's no question.
Think back to your prep career or even before your high school career. What was the biggest moment of adversity that you feel like you've had to overcome to get to where you are today?
You talking like elementary?
I mean, whenever. I mean, it could be elementary school, it could be high school, whenever.
Man, that's tough. I think in like about seventh grade, because like growing up, I'd always been way bigger than everybody, faster, stronger. Like I just matured before most of my classmates. So I'd always just dominated like every sport really, in basketball specifically. And then around like 7th grade, I think people started to catch up with me, so I wasn't as dominant. Like I was still one of the better players, but wasn't as dominant. And I just kind of had to, like that's when I really started to get in the gym on my own and try to get better because I wasn't as special as I used to be. So I think that was a big change I had to make. Rather than just practicing, like I started to do my own stuff.
How tough was it for you being committed to a school, having a coach leave, and then having to change your course of college plans late? How tough was that for you?
Yeah, it was super stressful. I mean, that was a situation that, I mean, I'm glad I went through it now, but at the time, like, it made me doubt a lot of things. And I mean, my parents stayed with me and they talked to me about staying positive, like it's all going to work out. And I honestly, at the time, I didn't like believe them. I didn't buy in with what they're saying. But I mean, it just caused so much stress because I was really ahead of everyone in my class. Like I knew my destination, I knew my situation I was going into. And now they all had their places and I was like the only one that didn't know where I was going. So to see all of them knowing where they were going, who they were rooming with, and I was just taking visits again, just to start the whole process over was super stressful.
You had to know you had options though, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was the promising thing, that I just had a solid senior year. So, I mean, right when I decommitted, I heard from a lot of different schools, which, like, it's a blessing to hear from so many schools, but it also adds to the stress. I would have just had like 1 or 2 schools contact me.
Right. You get reconnected with Coach Monahan. You get connected with Coach Mullins here. And the word everybody seems to use to describe Coach Mullins is tough.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think he gets that adjective tied next to his name so much?
I've never watched a full game of him, and I'd love to watch a game of him play in college, because that's like if I go to a restaurant and stuff and people are there who recognize our team and stuff and they talk about Coach, because everybody knows Coach here,
right?
And they always talk about how tough he was as when he played. So I've never watched him play, so I mean, I'd love to see that. But from what I've seen out of him, the amount of time that he can put into watching film and really just prepping for everything it's insane. Like he's always watching film. He's always getting ready for the next team. He's always thinking 2 steps ahead. Like he's just so dedicated to everything that he does, is like 100%.
Chris Lowry, who is the former head coach here, former player here, and is now at Kansas State, came and spoke to you guys, and he talked about how Coach Mullins was crazy, and he played so hard that he broke. When you heard that, what did you think?
I believed it 100%. I believed it, because that's how he coaches. He coaches so hard, and not hard like he's yelling at us and stuff, but he's just so bought into everything that he does, and he just loves what he does, so he just puts in so much time.
Let's close out here with some championship talk. Won your freshman year in high school, got close your senior year.
Yeah.
When you look back at your high school career, say 10 years down the line, which season are you going to remember more? The one you were close in, or the one that you actually won it?
Oh, my freshman year when we won it, no question.
Why that one?
There was just so much buzz around the town. We had never won a state championship before, and I was a freshman, so everything was brand new to me. And the crowd support was the best out of like any team at the state tournament. I think we took like 11 fan buses for our student section, and the memories made winning are just it's you really just can't describe it. Like, you have to feel what it's like to win big games and meaningful moments like that to really just understand like how good that feels. Like, it's hard to describe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to try to describe it, but it sounds indescribable.
You really can't. You can't.
What's the closest you feel like you've gotten to that, to the feeling of winning a state championship since then?
When we took second, really.
Yeah.
Because that was our junior and senior year were the years that we were supposed to be the best. So that's also what makes the freshman year so special, because we were the underdogs in, I think, like 6 of the 8 games in the playoff we were the underdogs for. So that was cool to just keep knocking off teams that were supposed to beat us. And then my senior year, I mean, we won, like, we were like 26-2 or something like that. So just the more wins, the more chances that you have for a good locker room and a good bus ride, because the bus rides were fun always after a good win, and just the camaraderie and the spirits are so much higher after a good win, so everything's just more memorable.
Did you think you were going to win 4 in a row?
That was the plan. We knew it would be a long shot, but I mean, when we stepped in every game, we thought we would win it, so that was the plan.
Yeah. That euphoric feeling your freshman year, how does that compare to some of the disappointment you felt last year when you were playing in the state championship game and lose?
Yeah, I mean, so like freshman year to win it was just like we felt like we were on the top of the world, but then to lose it senior year, like it hurt us a lot because we lost it. But I think the biggest thing which hurt was like, yeah, we were mad that we lost and we were sad that we lost it, but because it was our last game together like with all of us seniors. So to kind of lose the bond that we created over the games and like the great seasons and careers that we had, because we had won so much when we were younger and we were all together in high school and best friends. So to like play our last game, that was the biggest like difficulty about that loss, is to lose with my brothers along the side, like the one game that we wanted to win the most.
Right. What about the reaction from your dad? That was the last time that you would have played for him as your head coach. Who was more upset about that, you or him?
Honestly, that's probably a toss-up.
Yeah. Like
we were upset that it was over, but we were grateful for each other and the ride that we had, and kind of like with him and his coaching with our team, like we kind of put Waupun, which is a small city in Wisconsin, we kind of like put it back on the map for basketball, because it really hadn't had anything that like those big wins before ever in history. So just like the ride to look back on what we did was cool.
You look at all that you accomplished in those 4 years: state championship, going to the Final Four, winning conference championships. How do you think it translates up at this level? I
think that winners just win. So, I mean, I've been winning ever since I was young with good coaching, and we have good coaching here. And that's what Coach Mullins always talked about, is that he just wanted winners, because people who just want to win and need to win just find ways. Like, you can have talent, but if they don't know how to win or the desire to win, you're just never really going to do that well.
This is not to say that you don't get excited, because I know you were really excited after you hit that shot against Missouri State. Mm-hmm. But to me, it looks like you're able to keep your heartbeat pretty slow in the big moments. When did you kind of become this guy that could handle those big moments and not freak out when a bunch of people are watching you in a big moment?
I think it was right around probably my junior year. Freshman year, I played in big moments, but like throughout the game, especially at the start of the game, I was really just nervous. Like the whole time to play in big arenas, I was nervous, and all the fans. And as I kind of grew older and I just knew, I like had that mindset that like I was one of the best players out here. Like I just started to trust all the work I put in, so everything just felt calm and it just came easier to me.
What do you expect going to Enterprise Center this week?
I mean, we expect to win 3 games, and that's what we're there to do. We all believe in each other, and we believe that we can do that.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, if Salukis can win a championship and the Packers can win an NFC North championship all in the same year, it'll be a pretty good 2020.
Oh, yeah, we're living.
I'll come find you next December. Well, hey, man, congrats on Freshman of the Year and a bunch of other stuff that I'm sure is coming your way in the future, and keep killing it, all right?
Appreciate that.
All right, that's Marcus Domask here on Week 5 at the Saluki Standards Podcast.